What's up everybody? My name is Colin Fitzpatrick and you are watching my YouTube channel, Star Wars Facts and Theories. On this YouTube channel, we will discuss anything and everything about our favorite universe far, far away, Star Wars. I'm starting this YouTube channel because I've noticed a lot of people who get confused over timeline issues or what is canon and what isn't. Well, do not worry, because on this channel, I will deal with all your problems. I'll explain timeline in this episode, and in later ones, I'll discuss some theories about who is Supreme Leader Snoke, and there'll be even better videos coming down the road, so stay tuned for those. So let's begin our discussion, shall we? If you didn't already know this, Disney purchased Lucasfilm, Star Wars, all of that, back in 2012. Since then, they canceled the EU, or the expanded universe. Basically every comic, TV show, book, all that kind of stuff that had been released prior to that. And all of that deleted information has now been filed under the Legends category. So don't worry, you can still buy those novels, comics, etc. They're just not canon anymore, sadly. But now that has opened up the universe to new stories, which they've been exploring in The Force Awakens and Rogue One in the movie area so far, Episode 8 being released soon, along with the Rebels television series and several new novels and comic series. So for this timeline video, I'm only going to discuss the timeline in the television series and the movies, just because an entire video of everything canon that Disney has released so far would just take way too long. If you guys want, maybe eventually I can release another video that will discuss the comic and novel timeline, but for right now, I'm just going to discuss the movies and television series. Alright, so the first thing in the Disney-approved timeline is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which tells the story of two Jedi Knights, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, who are trying to free the planet of Naboo from the evil Trade Federation forces. During this, they free the Queen of Naboo and bring her to the planet Tatooine, where they meet a small boy named Anakin Skywalker, who is the strongest individual in the Force that Qui-Gon has ever met. They take him to the Jedi Council, who refuse to give him any training, so Qui-Gon decides to train him on his own. But once they return to Naboo, Qui-Gon is killed by the Sith Darth Maul, and Anakin is to be trained by Obi-Wan, per Qui-Gon's dying wish. Moving on to Attack of the Clones, Star Wars Episode 2, which takes place 10 years after The Phantom Menace. Anakin is now 10 years older, wiser, but he still struggles to control his inner darkness. Obi-Wan has tried his best to train him, but now Anakin cannot control his love for the former Queen of Naboo, Padme Amidala. But on top of all of this, Count Dooku, a former Jedi, has now started his own separatist movement, breaking away from the Great Galactic Republic, which is now controlled by the Sith. The Separatists try to assassinate Padme, which forces Anakin to have to grow close to her as he becomes her guardian. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan travels to the planet Kamino, where he finds out that a secret clone army was created by Master Sifo Dyas, a former Jedi. While Obi-Wan searches for the mysteries surrounding Sifo Dyas, he discovers Padme's would-be assassin, Jango Fett, who flees to the planet Geonosis, where Obi-Wan is captured. The Jedi try to come and rescue him, but they all fail and are slaughtered by the droid armies on Geonosis. The clones are sent in to rescue them, starting off the Clone Wars. Shortly after this battle of Geonosis, Anakin and Padme are married, which sets up the following films. Next, we have the Clone Wars animated television series and film, which takes place in between episodes 2 and 3 and spans the 3 years between those films. It is a very good show. I highly recommend it. I'm not going to go over all the story arcs because it is a very long show spanning over 6 seasons, but it is extremely good. Hopefully you all go out and try it. You will not be disappointed. Next we have Revenge of the Sith, which is Star Wars Episode 3, and if you can't tell by the title, there's a lot of death in this movie. Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, the guy who's been running the Galactic Republic for the last 2 movies, reveals that he is a Sith and convinces Anakin to turn to the dark side, becoming Darth Vader. He then has the clones execute Order 66, which activates the chips inside the clones' heads, which we found out about in Clone Wars, making them all slaughter their Jedi generals. Without the Jedi, there is no peace in the galaxy. And with the Clone Wars going on, the whole galaxy will be thrown into upheaval. Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi are two of the only Jedi that we find out about who survived the Great Jedi Purge. Anakin, meanwhile, goes to the planet Mustafar, which has a bigger role to play in later Star Wars films, as we found out. While he's there, Padme comes, trying to convince him to join the light side once again, where he force chokes her, nearly killing her and his two children. Obi-Wan comes and they have a great duel where Anakin is severely damaged, which forces Anakin to wear that Darth Vader suit that we all know and love. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan and Yoda are forced into hiding, while Chancellor Palpatine takes over the Galactic Republic and renames it the First Galactic Empire. Padme dies, sadly, but her children are born, Luke and Leia, who will begin to bring hope to the galaxy. Next up, we have the Star Wars Rebels TV show, which happens several years after the events of Revenge of the Sith and tells the story of several new characters and how the Rebel Alliance grew to how we know them in the original trilogy. Moving on from that, we have the new movie Rogue One, which is a prequel, if you will, to A New Hope. The prologue that shows how the rebels got a hold of the Death Star plans. Next, we have A New Hope, a story that I'm sure we all know. How a boy from a desert planet, Luke Skywalker, the son of Darth Vader, would come to join the rebellion along with Han Solo, Leia Organa, Chewbacca, C-3PO, and R2-D2, along with old Obi-Wan, to blow up the Death Star and start the Galactic Civil War. Next, we have Empire Strikes Back, which tells the story of how Vader gets back at the Rebel Alliance for destroying the Death Star by destroying their base at Hoth, sending the rebels scattering to all corners of the galaxy. While Luke travels to Dagobah to learn from Yoda the ways of the Force, Han, Leia, and Chewbacca all travel to Cloud City, where they are captured by Vader. Later on, Luke comes to rescue them and finds out that Vader is his father, gets his hand cut off, by the way, and pretty much sends Luke's whole life into a tailspin. Next up, we have Return of the Jedi, Star Wars Episode 6, where Han, who has been trapped in Jabba the Hutt's palace for a long time, is freed by Luke, Leia, and Chewbacca. They all then join up with the main rebellion, which has come together after the failures at Hoth. They all decide to launch a full-scale attack on the second Death Star, which is being built over the forest moon of Endor. But it is all a trap set by the Emperor, who captures Luke and gives him an offer to join the Empire. Meanwhile, the Rebels' forces are being destroyed both in space and on the forest moon. But thanks to some ingenuity by Han, they manage to take down the Death Star's defenses, while some Rebel pilots fly into the superstructure and take out the reactor core. Vader finally decides that he does not want his son to be killed by the Emperor, so he turns back to the light, killing his former master. But in the process, he's severely wounded and dies in his son's arms. The rebels celebrate an enormous victory, and the galaxy seems to be won back into the hands of freedom. Or at least, so we thought. Fast forward 30 years in the Star Wars timeline, the galaxy is still under control of the First Order, which is basically a renewed version of the Empire. They destroy the Hosnian system with a new weapon known as Starkiller Base, which can destroy an entire solar system. The new founded Resistance launches a massive attack and manages to destroy the superweapon. This movie also introduced several new characters, including Rey, a scavenger from Jakku, Finn, a reluctant stormtrooper, Kylo Ren, Han Solo's son who kills him at the end. Spoiler if you haven't seen that movie, but pretty much everyone has, so I'm going to assume you have seen it. And then my personal favorite, Poe Dameron, a new and really cool Resistance pilot. Rey goes off to become a Jedi Knight, or at least to train hopefully under Luke, and it ends with her giving him back his old lightsaber, which he lost in Empire Strikes Back. But don't worry people, that's not the end of the Star Wars universe. Episode 8 will be released later this year, and the Han Solo movie is planned for 2018. So we have a lot to look forward to in that area. Alright everyone, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment below and I will try to answer any questions you might have about the Star Wars universe. I'll be releasing videos about once a week, possibly more. We'll see as time goes on. So leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and may the Force be with you always.